Okay, all you YouTube guys, it's Bart with High Tech Motorsport, Elk River, Minnesota, 763-712-9088. We're in here on a Saturday finishing up a 351 Cleveland motor. It's in that purple Mustang that's in the background right there. My error on this one, I tried to put another flat tappet cam in and it went flat right away, so I just changed it to a roller. Couldn't charge the guy any more money because it's my mistake trying to save the money to start with, but we put a comp cams custom 214, 218 on a 112, 557, 546, and should run like $1 million. Got a stock converter in it, so it was lunging real bad and the power brakes didn't work. So we're finishing this up. We got Bill. Say hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Okay, good. John, say hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Yeah, there we go. So we got everybody doing the same thing. They're in here. We had to come in to finish up on a Saturday because the guy obviously wants his car back. You can see underneath this car it's got stock style mufflers, so we're going to get hurt a little bit on performance, but it does have some headers, so that's good. Anyway, we'll be firing this thing up in a couple minutes, doing a burp on the cooling system. Real important to do. Checking the timing, setting it at about 14 and 36, and then we'll be on the dyno doing our final run up. Now this thing made like 244 at the wheels last time, and second gear doesn't work in this thing very well. It blows through it. Transmission guy is going to get it next, not our tranny guy, but the customer paid for it here a little while ago. But I'm going to do a little midnight oil stuff here. This is day 6 of a week, and we're all a little bit tired out, but that's just the way it goes during race season. And I'm going to stop it here for a couple seconds. We'll get it fired up. In the minute we do, I'll turn it back on. You can hear the new sound. It's going to be fairly tame on this one, but we're looking to make good torque and drivability for a member of the armed forces that needs this thing out on the East Coast. So we want to make sure it's ready to rock and roll and as good as it can possibly be. All right, everybody, Bart at High Tech Motorsport. We got the burgundy Mustang up and running. We're doing a little bit of a high-speed cam break-in. It is a roller cam, so it doesn't really need a whole lot of break-in, but we like to make sure the oil's flowing through the motor. We spooled it up without firing it up, and made 80 psi, so it's working really good. It's got Brad Penn race oil in it, 10W40. So we'll walk outside. You can hear it out. Now remember, this is a small cam. It's got to go every day for a young lady who's in the armed forces. So it's a stock converter, so you cannot get carried away. It's a 214, 218, 550, 550 on a 112 lobe set, but with the aggressive comp killer lobe. So it's working pretty good. So we're right in the middle of burping the thing up. Bill's inside the car. He's doing what he does best. He's sitting inside the car all by himself. For all you ladies out there, Bill is single. Just saying. Here we go. One more time firing this thing up with this tiny camshaft. Still seems a little high. John's adjusting it. He's got his timing light that also has a fancy dancy tack in it. We haven't adjusted the idle screws yet. He's just taking the RPM down. I think we're going to have to put a little bit heavier spring on the return. Yeah. So we'll listen to it once again. Here's Bill, who's still single. He wants to date a woman this time. This is the way it sounds. Sounds real nice. Now Bill, drop it into gear. See what it sounds like, see what it does. No brakes. That's why I wanted to adjust them. It's got a leak. Nothing?
No, this goes right to the floor.
That's not good. We got a pedal going right to the floor. All right, back to the brake adjusting time here at High Tech Motorsport. We didn't even do those. Touch them, just have to see what's going on. All right, back at High Tech, we got the brakes all adjusted. The rears hadn't been done since probably Nixon was president. I think that's about right. John took about, geez, I don't know, a couple, 3 turns on each side. That helped the brakes so they wouldn't go right to the floor. The fluid's good in it. We're just double checking the oil, and then we're going to drive it in the dyno cell, make a couple pulls. Hopefully we're ready to rock and roll. Mark it, set, go. Okay, Bart at High Tech, we're back in the dyno cell. Made the first pull with the little 351 for the Armed Forces person. It's rich at hard throttle, it's lean at wide open. This is an Edelbrock carburetor, so it's always a lot of fun. You got John is taking the needles out. Bill, show him the needle. Here's what the needles look like. They're tapered on the end, unlike Bill. And what we're going to do now is we're going to read what they say, and we're going to try to fatten up wide open, and we're going to end up trying to lean out hard throttle. So we're 70-37s. Okay, so we're screwed. All right, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to lean it out with different needles for hard throttle, and then get in the back of the jets, the back of the carburetor where the jets are. Way back here, and rich them up back there with a different size jet. More to come. All right, so we're going to do a 75-37. The higher the number, the leaner it goes in the top. And of course, the smaller the number, the richer it gets. We were at 70-37s on these things on this. So we're going to see if it's going to lean it out enough at hard throttle. To get enough fuel at wide open, we're going to have to take the top off the carburetor and remove the jets in the back, the main fuel jets, and actually make them bigger by about 10%. So we're going to take that off now. Got the fan on because it's about 1 million degrees. Got to cool it down at the same time so nobody burns their fingers. Just flip that little cover loose. Take all the screws out, and when we open it up, I'll be back then. Alright, so there goes Bill. He's got all the screws pulled out. Top of the carburetor. That's how that looks when it's separated. See, isn't that cute? Little floats down below for the gasoline. It's your fuel line right here. Point to it. Okay, good. Alright, now, John's going to get in there face first. Or not. John loves being on YouTube. It's his favorite thing to do. We're trying to find Bill a date. So if you're in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area and want to help work on cars with Bill, just give me a call at High Tech 763-712-9088 and we'll set you up. All right, so he's got a bunch of other little parts pulled out. Hope he remembers where they go. That's what it looks like inside of the carburetor when the top's off. Got the Venturis and the little butterfly blades. And he's going to jump in. There's main jets right there, and then one on the opposite side. Remember, kids, don't try this at home in your parents' car until you find out if it's okay or not. And I'll be giving out John's home phone number shortly, so if you can't put it back together, you can call him 24/7. No, we can't call him 24/7. We're not doing that. So, got the 2 little jets. Going to pull those out. We're going to add 10% fuel to the thing, so it's 14.0 to 1. It's going to be around 13.0 to 1. And with the new needles in it, we should be slightly. You know, there's a jet. See how small that is? There you go. Got 2 of those. 1 on each side. So the most important thing here is do not drop screws down the motor. Nothing good happens when that goes on. Grabbing the second one. So what size are they, John?
hard to see the numbers on these. I'll probably just use a drill bit to figure out the right size.
Okay.
And then go from there to step it up.
Okay. That we got. Fun with carburetors. It's not that much fun. Be right back. So here's the dyno sheet from that last pull. You can see on the bottom the air fuel goes up to 15 to 1 and then it comes back down to 14 to 1. So we got to add fuel everywhere. See the big loop? That's the transmission going away, but we'll let the transmission guy take care of that. We just got to tune it to make it work. Hang on, my wife calling again. All right, so the guys, we took and drilled out the jets. They were 98 sizes and just use a drill set for that. They're 98, so we drilled them out to 104, so it's about an 8% improvement in fuel flow. Should take us from 14.0 to 13.2 to 1. And we'll see if those metering rods change the part throttle cruise enough. So we got the jets back in it.
We got the arm drilled too.
Oh good, we got the arm drilled too for more accelerator pump. So the goal is when we get this thing all put back together, we make the run, we get the fuel set up so it's correct, and then we adjust the timing up and down. The timing's pretty close. It's set at 16 and 36. We'll see if it likes a couple degrees more, a couple degrees less. Part how it runs. We'll get our glory pull when it's all cooled down. We'll call the customer and tell them to come get this thing and take it someplace else besides here. All right, here we go. Here's the top going back on. There we go. Okay, we're doing good. John putting the top on, slides back into place. And we got 17 screws. Now, I don't think it's 17, but a bunch of little clips. Now we're talking about drilling the arm for the accelerator pump. We'll show you that. The Edelbrock stuff, the new ones come with 3 holes, but Edelbrock always needs more accelerator pump to get rid of the bog. So you can see, as you take the fulcrum and slow it down, this is our new hole right here. It gives you increased fuel flow with the stroke. It's kind of I guess I'd call it a little bit of fulcrum multiplier. What do you want to call it, John?
It'd just be a mechanical advantage. It actuates faster.
See, that's why we pay him the big bucks. It's mechanical advantage. It's not fulcrum multiplier. Bill, what do you want to call it?
I don't know.
And that's why he doesn't get the big bucks. So we're putting it all back together now, and we'll get things fired up. We're cooling it down a little bit because it gets hotter than hell. You can see this intake manifold here is a real low. It's a performer, non-performer, whatever you want to call it. Gets hot from the oil in the intake.
It's Performer 351.
Performer 351. There's better intake manifolds out there, but I'm sure that's what the guy had on the car when he got it or whatever. But you know, taller is better as long as it fits under the hood usually. And this is a dual plane. Probably would need a spacer, would probably help a little bit, but this is all just tripe. It's like a trike except different, it's tripe. All right, so there's all the screws going back together. And whenever you do these things, what you want to do when you first get them, after taking them all the way apart, one person should watch when it's fired up, and the other person should be in the car waiting to turn the damn thing off if it floods with fuel, or fuel comes out, or some crazy thing, so you don't set your own car on fire. It's pretty funny what happens to somebody else as long as nobody gets hurt, but it's not really good when it's your car or a customer car. So, double checking, going all the way across. John's going to put the
Accelerator pump arm and the choke. Accelerator pump arm and the choke lever back on this
okay.
side.
That's that mechanical advantage thing. Okay. Right. Okay. Good. So there we go. John's really good at this stuff, folks. Bill, we're still training in a little at a time.
Yeah, please.
We're trying to make him just like Corey, except shorter and whiter. So. That was humor, everybody. It's been a long week. We've had all of us worked, let's see, 5/12s, and then today I got here at 6 o'clock in the morning to clean up after the characters here.
I was here at 6:15.
You were not. 6:15, you're probably just getting to bed, you big wanker. All right, so here we go. I'll put these little bitty tiny clips in. Really tiny. deal is you need a little tiny needle nose, and you stick the things back together, and you put these little clips in. You hope not to drop them. Dropping them is bad because they're. Oh, look at that! Went right back in. That's pretty cool.
You got little pliers or something in here, John?
How about this one? What he's using? Here, see, pliers.
I was looking for something for this.
Oh, well, just use your fingers, you big pussy.
Yeah, I'll see you do it.
I could do it.
Do you know what a pliers is?
Yeah, he's a guy that gets a lot of dates.
Alright.
These are players. Alright, so now we're going to put the... There we go. So your accelerator pump arm. See around John's fingers right there. Remember, folks, he's a trained professional, but he can be bought for the weekend. Probably why he's a trained professional. We're putting it in the most aggressive hole that we just made to give us as much accelerator pump as possible. A lot of people say carburetors, when you hit the accelerator pump, that they're bogging. That's exactly wrong. There's no vacuum when you go to wide open throttle for a split second. Consequently, no fuel coming out of the Venturis, and that's why they put an accelerator pump on there to kind of cover the hole. Oh, there he is. He's got his fingers. He's got to grab that little bent arm.
It fell off.
Or he's not going to grab the little bent arm.
Wow. It fell down.
It came off. That's it. We're all going home for the day. Screw this. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Okay. No, it's tough to see here, guys, but we're doing the best we can. There we go. So he's going to put in the most aggressive hole, which is right there. And put another little tiny clip on the backside. See those little holes? And that way the accelerator pump moves the most to put as much fuel in as you possibly can. This is where I drop shit all the time because I have manly man hands. No, I actually got fat little sharp fingers. That's different. But hey, there we go. See how that squishes fuel in? All right. And that goes back in. We got to put that little, where's that plastic? I left the plastic deal right here that helps slow down the air. Needles are going in yet. They go right here. They're spring loaded, so they pop in and out with a little, oh, I don't know even what you call them. John, what do you call the little things on they're spring loaded? You want to call them plungers?
Yeah, because they get pulled down and then you back and push it off with the spring. And back and push it.
Okay. See, I got one thing right, plunger. Got the mechanical advantage thing wrong, but plunger I got right. Go figure. Okay, so there we go. They go right there. You see they got little bitty tiny screws that hold them into place. There's your choke right there, which is absolutely useless. Real men don't need chokes. We all know that. Pump it twice, let it warm up. If you're in 10 below weather or something like that, I think you should buy a fuel injected truck anyhow. It's not going to work with a 71 Mustang out in snow. Although we used to drive these things that way. All right, here's another important thing about Edelbrock carbs. See this right here? That's a spacer. If you don't have the spacer going to a regular air cleaner, Edelbrock carburetors all have problems with fuel flow as the air cuts across them. It's just inherent in what they do. There's the little plunges with the springs going in. You gotta be real careful when you drop them in. They should pop up and down, so you got to kind of move them. So there they go. See how they slide like that? So they pop up and down. Then it's got a little small piece of, yeah, it's got a cover. You slide them to place. And you screw them down so they can't pop back out.
T15 Torx on a Edelbrock.
T15 Torx on Edelbrock. So if you buy that T15 Torx for the Edelbrock from Snap-on, that tool is $812. That's not plus tax. I'm kidding with you. All I can tell you is Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight for those of us that drop stuff, lose stuff everywhere else. All right.
We don't use that.
We don't. Yeah, the real technicians don't use that, but people that lose stuff, like me, we use lots of it because we lose stuff. All right. Here we go. John, we ready to fire it up and see what it does? Okay, I'm going to turn the fans on. We'll see what goes on. We'll check it. Make another pull and see if we got a winner. Say hi, John.
Hi, YouTube.
Okay, good. All right, we're back here again. We got the Phil was looking at the carb, make sure it wasn't leaking. We got our 71 Mustang with a 351 Cleveland motor, 4-barrel. Now we had problems with the thing. Let's get the dyno back up again. And we had problems with it running a little bit rich in part throttle and lean and wide open. So we've changed the jets by about 8 to 10%, the main jet. And then the we got the needles, left those alone at wide open, but leaned them out of part throttle. So here we go. Gonna accelerate away and just watch the air fuel. See what it does at part throttle now. So we're going 14.0, 14.1, shifted to the third gear to get it pulls a little harder on the carb. Alright. There we go, at 14.3, still it's 14.7. I like to run about 13.8, we might have to go back the other way. Now we're going to shift it to second gear and make our power pull and see what we get. Alright, here we go. Watch your air fuel on it. Here we go. Alright, so we did really good on the wide open throttle. We went to 13.0 to 1, which is exactly where I wanted it. The part throttle cruise might be a little light, and for some reason, we got a whole big bog, and I don't know why. It actually went leaner than before. So we're going to check that out. I'll print out this thing and we'll look at it together. Hey everybody, I've got the screen up right here, and remember our transmission is completely screwed. The red line is the latest one. The good news is we got to pull all the way to 5,800 before I got out of it. Never done that before. Made 243 horse at the wheels with a slipping transmission, 294 torque at the wheels. That's really good. Here's the bitch. See this great big line right here? It actually leaned out even more at part throttle when I bashed it. So we've got some kind of problem with the accelerator pump. Air fuel wide open's perfect. 13.0 to 1, couldn't be happy with that. The blue line's the old one. But this one right now, here's the problem right here. Because if I could get that to work right, and believe it or not, the part throttle cruise, we jumped up almost 2 full points. I wanted to jump up 1 point, it jumped up 2. So I went from 70.57s to 75.57, so five numbers higher for leaner at part throttle. Now we're gonna go with a 73.37, hoping to split the difference between the two. I don't know why it made that much of a difference. It shouldn't have been more than about a half point, maybe 3/4 of a point. But that's what the dyno is good for. It'll tell us everything that's going on here. Now normally we don't get this kind of weird curly cue up here, but that's that transmission that's slipping, the converter that's coming unglued. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. But we are not gonna, the transmission guy is gonna have to fix that when we get all done. So we'll go back to it. We're gonna change out those metering rods again and see what it does. Okay, so what John's doing now is we're making sure we've got the stiffest springs in the needles to raise them up as fast as possible, transition, so we don't end up with that lean spot that we're talking about all the time.
Yeah, so we got yellow springs in here, which are 4 inches of vacuum to pull it down.
Okay.
So if we can find a set of blues, that'll push it up, push the needles up sooner into the rich part for wide open throttle.
Okay, so we're gonna look for blues. Find something.
That's got to be a blue one.
With our luck, we probably have one.
I think that's where we're at.
But we can go up front and grab some out of our parts area. I'm sure I've got springs or got another kit or whatever. We got several kits here. Probably all missing the blue springs. Anyway, so we're gonna put the blues in with a little bit richer part throttle, 73 whatevers.
Couple blues.
Oh, there's blues. There we go. See the color? Put it against something white so they can see the color.
It's gonna look black almost.
No, I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, it looks kind of blue. Okay, we're gonna put those in and see if that helps us transition so we don't get that big bog. And also for the part throttle be a little richer along with the 7337 needles. All right, here we go. So I want to show you something right here. Follow that little cursor. So when you hit the throttle and it's down here around 13.0 to 1, should drop to about 13.0, 12.8, 12.5 for acceleration. When it goes too lean, this is 18.0 to 1, that's parts air to 1 part gas. You see what happens with the horsepower and the torque right here? The motor falls on its face. That's that bog, like quadrajets do the same thing. See that? And then it kind of comes up, and then of course the torque converter comes unglued. But that's something you should be aware of the way the car performs. So that's what we're trying to take out. There's your lean spot, along with the horsepower and torque that drops. The delay is the fact we're measuring out of the tailpipe, which is about 12 feet away from where the motor's making power. That's why there's a slight delay here of, say, 1/10 or 2/10 of a second during the run. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're changing the needles out right now. The springs, make sure we got the blue ones so they actually get into the richer part of the needle quicker. All right, everybody, run 4, back on the dyno. It's a 71. Added a little bit of fuel at part throttle, and we ended up changing the springs, try to get into a little bit more enrichment earlier with the needles. Run up again. Let's see what it does when we get it up and make it go to part throttle. Part throttle's at about 13.7, 13.8. Where I want to see it, so that part's successful. I'll go into second gear and make the pull and see what it does. So everything worked. We had to do all the transmissions about ready to leave us. Real excited about that. That's going to be awesome. And let's see what goes on here. Then we may just make a cool down pull and call it a done deal. Okay, here we go, everybody. We're on the dyno. We cooled this down, fixed the wide open throttle issues, fixed the part throttle issues, changed the timing up and down a little bit. Got it in second gear. We're going to make another pull. This will be it for the day, thank God. Been about 2 hours ticking around with that carburetor. You only got the highlights. Here we go. Going here where it's easier to see and easier to hear. So we did a maximum of 242 horse at the wheels. Take a look here. Still flaring the tranny right here. 241, 242, and 295 torque. 351 Cleveland stock, everything, just with a camshaft and long tubes. That's about, we're losing about 25% with that, so you got about I don't know, what is that, 360 foot-pounds of torque at the crank, and I don't know, 300 horse, something like that, give or take. Anyway, that's it for the YouTube stuff for the day. Remember, do not get Edelbrock carburetor, but if you get one, we can help you fix it. See ya! YouTube people, we're going to take that 71 Mustang with the Edelbrock carburetor that we had to completely redo that you're going to see on the video if you watch the whole thing. I explain everything about that carburetor, most of it, so you can get yours tuned up. This is Val. Say hi, Val.
Hey guys.
Val is helping out doing the uploading and helping with all the videos, and if anybody wants to hire him, his rate is $75 an hour, cash only. If you put on a Visa MasterCard, it's like $140. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to take that thing for a spin. Once again, it's a small 214, 218 roller lifter camshaft. We took out the one that went flat. That was a bigger, what's that thing from Comp again that they make? The thumper camshaft, which doesn't work. Stock converter, going to a young lady in the military, so we want to make sure it drives out sweet. And we're going to take it for a spin, and then we'll see what you guys think. All right, so here we go. 71 Mustang. Door should be open, Val. Go ahead. We're going to fire this thing up. You can hear it outside. Small camshaft. It's got a 112 lobe set with 214, 218. High lift, 550, 550. So it runs really good, makes a nice big monster torque, and pulls to about 5,600, where it runs out of snooze because the intake manifold and the cylinder heads are pretty small. So here we go. We're going to fire this thing up. Got everything set. Ow! Got the damn buzzer. That's awesome. So as you guys all know, real people, real men don't need chokes. So this one does not have one. You got to pump it once when it's cold, and it's been sitting for a couple hours. You want to listen to this bad boy? There you go. If you like that sound, which I kind of do, and it idles in gear with a stock converter. It's got a one-wheel wonder in it, so this morning I was just checking it out, and it blows one tire into oblivion. But that's how she sounds. There we go. Let's take her for a spin. Doors, windows rolled up, so it's nice and quiet. We can listen for everything. You can feel it when it drives. It stays down on its stock converter. The guy didn't want to buy a converter for his daughter. I'm gonna wait for traffic so you don't get her ass run over, but we'll give her the beans. You guys can see what's going on. It's geared with like a 276 rear end. So consequently, like 2,500 is like 70 miles an hour. It's kind of a stone out of the hole. But they want to drive it back to North Carolina, and you can kind of hear where it's just doing the real happy. Got to obviously design camshafts for what the customer wants to do. Everybody, if you learned anything from me, it's like stop going to the end of the camshaft deal and just going, I want the biggest camshaft known to mankind. It doesn't freaking work that way. God damn it. And all you guys tune in for Corey's deal, because I left a burnout that started the parking lot on fire with his Hellcat. All right, here we go. Go. It shifts into high gear, wide open at about 72, 73 miles an hour. I've got it set up to shift at about 5,000 RPM. Motor makes power to about 5,600. Runs out pretty good. What do you think, though?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
I mean, for a small camshaft, it's something that somebody's got to take to a military base.
Yeah, I think it needs some 410s, in my personal opinion. But
yeah, she's a little bit of a stone, but you can drive it at 80, 90 miles an hour, and yeah, we're cruising at 75 miles an hour, and the car is just barely, not even breathing hard. See, no gear. That's all there is. 85, 90. It'll probably go 120. We're up from the stock rating on this thing with a 2-barrel was 166 horse, and that's total disaster. We're now making 250 at the wheels with that second gear because it wants to spin to 140 and drive. And with the non-lockup converter, we're doing about, I think I ran the numbers, it was like 345 actual crank horsepower. So 4-barrel intake. Intake's okay, it's not really a big intake, and I hate Edelbrock carburetors, but they can be fixed. Long tube headers, open exhaust. When it came in, it didn't run. Would barely pull itself, would die when you put it into gear with that big camshaft. It's just kind of a mismatch of parts. So we adjusted the brakes, got power brakes. They didn't work with the big camshaft. Needs tires. It's got 14-inch tires on it from probably, I'm going to guess about the Eisenhower age, give or take. Nah, they're not that old, but pretty old. I think these things were, whoa, keep forgetting about those touchy-ass brakes. I adjusted them. They're freaking ridiculous. All right, there we go. Once again, waiting for traffic. And here it just kind of idles down in gear to 650 in gear. It's real happy. Doesn't lunge against the converter anymore. That's good. caught up to traffic. Should work like a champ. Hope I got enough views up there that I didn't look at my hands on the weird little wood steering wheel. So, guy's coming to pick it up today at 3 o'clock. I'm sure he'll be happy with it. We'll get a thumbnail, get it back home, wipe it all down, and send it home. See you guys.